This is the Orioles Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Baltimore Orioles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining me so late on this Tuesday evening. My name is Luke Slaybaugh. This is the Baltimore Orioles Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. I am the post-game show host, all season long, instant reaction for Baltimore Orioles games. As a reminder, Connor Newcomb still runs the daily Locked On Orioles podcast show 5 days a week. He will have his reaction to this game, other news and notes, deeper analysis in the morning. Thank you for listening wherever you get your podcast for free and streaming live on YouTube. That's the point of this show. We stream it live, bringing it to you in lieu of a post-game show, just nuts and bolts, real quick, in and out. I want to say thank you for that. If you support this show, you are supporting the greater effort on this show. Let's all be friends. It gets worse. And looking at the comments right now, David Owen, faithful viewer of the show, says, "Great show. Thank you, sir. Nothing to say about the Orioles." Honestly, me neither, but we got 15 minutes together. The losing streak hits 8 games. The Baltimore Orioles fall to 17 games under 500 and 7-17 on the road, with tonight's 5-2 loss to the Milwaukee Brewers. It is Game 4 of the Tony Mansolino era, and they are 0-4 since the firing of manager Brandon Hyde. And with Tony Mansolino front and center in this interim role that he may or may not hold on to, that he may or may not leverage into other opportunities, let's talk about a decision he made tonight that struck some fans, commentators, analysts as odd.
This is what you'll be talking about.
This is the bad place. Bottom of the 8th, Tony Mansolino sees fit to bring in the right-hander, the Mountain, Felix Bautista. Longtime closer who hasn't gotten a whole lot of save opportunities this year, just 7, if that sounds correct. And yes, this would be Felix Bautista's first appearance on the mound since that god-awful appearance against the Washington Nationals this past Friday. You know, the one that got Brandon Hyde fired? The one that left this team kind of in disarray? So he's due, right? The Mountain is due to have a bounce-back outing in what is already a high-leverage situation. 3-2 ball game. Let me set the scene for you. You need your best pitcher in. That could probably be the rationale by Tony Mansolino. Per Masson, it was Felix's first outing in an inning that wasn't the 9th since July of 2023. So almost 2 years from now. And you also want to give the Mountain regular work. Don't let him get rusty so situations like Friday don't happen again. And his command was all over the place. Bold move. Didn't work. Hindsight's 2020, but first batter, Rhys Hoskins. 3-2 count. Sees a high fastball. Yanks it to right center field. His 6th homer of the year. It's a 4-2 ball game. And the exact reason why you had your closer in there to be the bridge, hopefully tie, or come back and win the game in the top of the 9th, went down the drain. Bautista has allowed a run in 3 straight outings. After starting the year fairly pristine, it took him a couple outings to get his velocity and his stuff back. This was rough. Adding insult to injury, he walks Sal Frelick, who had already homered in the game. Frelick steals second base. And with 2 outs, ground ball to Jackson Holliday. I wouldn't call it routine. He had to drift a little bit to his left against his momentum, and he was off balance to make this throw, and he airmails Ryan Mountcastle. Makes it a 5-2 ball game. Joey Ortiz at the plate for that. Man. What I really wanted to talk about tonight, which takes second fiddle to that decision by Tony Mansolino, is right-hander Chayce McDermott making his second appearance of the season. Technically not a start, although for all intents and purposes it was. Left-hander Keegan Aiken opened with the scoreless first inning, which he did back in April against Detroit. And that was when Charlie Morton was down bad. 41-year-old right-hander really down bad, and Brandon Hyde at the time thought it might soften the blow to change things up a little bit for Charlie, let Keegan start. And in both instances, he did okay. Went 1 2/3 over at the Motor City in just one inning for Keegan tonight. Would have been cool to see him go longer, but you're dealing with a rookie here. The knock on McDermott, and was the case last week against the Twins in that doubleheader, was that the command was shoddy. And if he could work around walks, he could spin a great outing. And results wise, this outing was better. However, you are going to get torched at this level. If you can't throw strikes or even have a general sense of where the ball is going to go when you release it. The command doomed Chayce McDermott in critical moments against a Brewers team that had struggled to hit for power at home as of late. The first blemish after striking out Joey Ortiz in the bottom of the third on a sweeper, 3-1 count to Bryce Terang. Four-seam fastball, trying to aim it, trying to get it over the plate, 3-1 count to Terang, ends up middle, and Terang crushes it to dead center. Then ended up walking Jackson Chourio right afterwards. Chourio, 21, still doesn't know how to take a walk at the major league level. It got worse in the bottom of the fourth with McDermott pitching from behind. It's ultimately what doomed him. What makes this difficult to swallow, despite the results and stats being better this time out, is that this is the number 4 overall prospect in general manager Mike Elias's robust farm system. The best ranked pitcher that the Orioles have per MLB.com. And he looks the part. 6'3", 200 pounds, and he's got good ride on his fastball. But there's two facets to this. One is the lack of the command in general. And then the other is, once you have it in the strike zone, locating it so you don't get burned. It shows how far behind the league standard the O's are. Let's talk about that fourth inning because I want to tie it in with some injury news. Leadoff man in the fourth is Rhys Hoskins. Pop up to shallow right field. Jackson Holliday is following it all the way and backpedaling and has it down on lock, like probably could have made this catch. However, as is the correct move, he defers to the outfielder, right fielder Ramón Laureano, who calls him off. And then Ramon, either his cleat gets stuck or he just gets caught up in that thick grass at American Family Field. Thick with like 2 C's, maybe 3 C's. Let me know in the comments. He stabs, dives, flails at this ball, and it actually goes in and out of his glove. If you see the thumbnail for this video, appropriately titled Pain, with a period at the end, that was a very painful moment. Now, Laureano leaves the game an inning later. He finishes the inning in the field, and then he leaves with left ankle discomfort. Hope it's nothing serious. Looked scary at first. He just kind of got caught. His knee and his ankle got caught, probably rolled his ankle, and then stabbed at that ball, which fell for a Rhys Hoskins double. And then 1 out later, Sal Frelick, the aforementioned home run. 2-run blast, a hanging slider on a 1-0 count. Chayce McDermott tries to backdoor it to Frelick. And against what Kevin Brown on Masson referred to as one of the softest hitters in baseball, McDermott offers a 2-run tater, and it's a 3-0 ball game. A lead from which the Orioles would never quite recover. Final line on McDermott, 4 2/3, 3 earned runs, 4 hits, 5 walks, 2 strikeouts, and 2 home runs allowed. To his credit, none of these walks burned him in the long run. And in fact, the 5th inning was probably the best version of McDermott, at least working with runners on base. First 2 innings were good, and he was, relatively speaking, working efficiently, lights out. But it was impressive in the 5th how he was able to get out of that inning after giving up a single to Churio, walking William Contreras. Some really good PFP, pitcher's fielding practice, a ground ball. It was kind of a Bermuda Triangle situation where Mountcastle deferred to Jackson Holliday, and Holliday was able to toss it to McDermott covering first base. It was Christian Yelich at the plate. Struck out Rhys Hoskins on a high four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour, good run on it, delivered right to the glove. And then got Isaac Collins to ground out. Probably the most impressive outing, and good to end on a high note for McDermott. Would have liked to see him go an even 5, but Mansolino saw fit to take him out after 75 pitches, probably a count on him as he recovers from his lat injury. Coming up, talk a little bit about Jackson Holliday. Young star blooming right before our eyes. Going to give some flowers to Logan Henderson as well. That was just an extraordinary performance in his 3rd major league outing. And the O's plate approach leaves a lot to be desired. They continue to hack and whack and I don't know what. And some report from Masson on Dylan Carlson in the bunt scenario last night that had some people on this channel who will not go named. A little bit hot under the collar. Talk about that just after this break as we talk about the Orioles falling for their 8th straight loss, 5-2 to the Milwaukee Brewers. Stick with us. You know what the deal is in the DMV. You go out one night, and then 2 days later, you're looking at your bank statement, and you're like, huh? What happened? Al Gibson took all your money. And that's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop managing your wealth and you take it one step forward to building wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps like some of us do, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Do we want to look at the comments? Let me see. Sure. Narniac comments on YouTube. Chayce McDermott isn't even that young. He's 26. That is correct. He also comments that the fact that McDermott is the O's top pitching prospect is sickening. Yeah. I'm with you on that. And Michael Dewars on YouTube comments, sit Adley and Kerstad. The best piece of hitting from Adley Rutschman tonight came against the left-hander Alexander. Believe it was in the 7th, Tyler Alexander. Might have been the 6th or the 7th, but an opposite field hit for Adley, hitting right-handed. And just from the eye test, it seems like he hasn't had that many plate appearances against lefties of late. Granted, the O's haven't done a lot against left-handers, but they did squeak across a run against Alexander this evening as part of a 5-2 loss to the Milwaukee Brewers. I want to say thank you all for joining in as we are going to wrap this up a little bit post-haste, but some notes. This rundown gets longer and longer the more I dwell on thoughts, which turn into depression. Jackson Holliday continues to rake. He's blooming right before our eyes with the 7-game hit streak. And while he is not eligible for Rookie of the Year, this might as well be a great first full-length campaign for the Orioles middle infielder. And I don't want to hear any talk about moving him to the outfield. Only 2 errors so far this season. I want him to stick as long as he can in the infield because unless your back is absolutely killing you, hunching over on each play, we need that speed, we need that athleticism, we need that arm. And occasionally, yeah, the airmailed throw is going to happen. Jackson Holliday is hitting .306 in May. and really good work with 2 outs in the top of the 7th. It was not the 7th that Adley hit that single. It was the 6th. My apologies. I'm only human. Or are we dancers? Started with 2 singles. Ryan Mountcastle, right field. You love to see it. Cedric Mullins, also going oppo. Heston Kjerstad's probably best at bat of the game. In fact, I know it's his best at bat of the game. 8-pitch at bat. No, it's not his best at bat. I mean, he saw the most pitches, but a 4-3 double play, the Orioles' 36th double play of the year that they've hit into. And that is when Alexander is relieved by right-hander Yoel Payamps. Now, that's a name I haven't heard in quite some time. And Ramón Urias goes down, gets a slider low, little bloop single into left field, made it a 3-1 ball game. Mountie scores, and then Holiday goes oppo, first pitch. RBI triple off the wall, his second of the season. Jackson Chourio got caught up in the crease of the wall, kind of tripped himself up, might have had a beat on that on a ball that was destined to hit off the padding and ricochet for extra bases. Holiday books it out of the box. He makes it to third. Urias scores. It's 3-2. Adley Rutschman flies out to center field to Chourio to end the inning. All it really took for the Orioles was to get the Brewers starter out of the game. And this kid, Logan Henderson, might end up being a star. Or he's got the wildest case of beginner's luck because 23 years old, right-hander, fast mover through the Milwaukee system. Now 3-0 in his first 3 big league starts. Induces 20 whiffs, 20 swings and misses, and primarily using only 2 pitches, a fastball and a change. Worked in a cutter a little bit later for just some extra razzle-dazzle and pizzazz. But some of the break on his change in the ride on his fastball, tantalizing. As someone who, throughout his life, has been a fan, honing in on the NL Central, my props to you, young Padawan. Do your thing. Unfortunately for the Orioles, the offensive approach early against him and last night against their starter, the approach was hack and whack, and there was a lot of guessing games going on in which the Orioles could not make up their mind on whether or not to sit fastball or changeup, and then got caught up in between both and looked kind of lost. And when you know that's your strategy, because hope isn't one, you got schooled. So they're gung-ho, they're uber aggressive at the plate, and that lends itself to chasing. The O strike out 12 times. 13, actually. Forgot to count Urias ending the game against Uribe. Abner Uribe, which is a legendary name. His first save of the year. 13 strikeouts compared to 2 walks. Whereas the Brewers, balanced approach, 7 walks, 5 of those from Mr. McDermott, and 6 strikeouts. Just a better ratio in general. Hope springs eternal with a fan favorite on this show, Dylan Carlson. Had a great catch last night in left field, going up against the railing, shouldering that aluminum railing like it was nothing. Great catch in the bottom of the 3rd last night. Dylon snaps an 0 for 19. An 0 for 19 to start his Orioles career. Little tapper to the 3rd baseman, Caleb Durbin. He of Washington University, St. Louis fame. Booking it out of the box, infield hit for Dylan. Also, a report from Masson in game was that Dylan Carlson was not ordered to bunt last night, which, if you listen to Connor's episode this morning, could either give you a sense of peace or a sense of LOL WTH. In that, if Dylan Carlson bunted last night with Cedric Mullin on and no outs, either he didn't understand the signs, or Buck Britton didn't understand the signs, or Dylan just saw fit to do it of his own accord because reasons? So that is the mystery that keeps on giving. And I will let you, the fans, here comment live on YouTube or comment wherever you get your free podcast as to what is going on. But we carry on, as we always do. And if anyone's going to win a game this series, it's probably right-hander Tomoyuki Sagano. We'll likely get some Rookie of the Year votes by the time this year is over. He goes up against 26-year-old right-hander Chad Patrick. Sounds like a third-tier Sports Center anchor. 2 of 4 with a 3.35 ERA, 9 starts, 10 appearances. That is a 110 first pitch on Masson 2. I will do my darndest to be here after the final out. Because you and me, Birdland, we got something good going. It looks like we're going to be doing it from here, from the studio, all season long. Anyway, I appreciate you all tuning in here late on this Tuesday night. We're about to hit 11 o'clock. If you are watching on the replay, hello, leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from, your thoughts. Any thoughts on the show as it continues to descend into madness? My name is Luke Slaybaugh. A little bit drier than usual, but I want to say thank you for tuning in here. Watching live on YouTube as you always do. You guys mean a lot here. And your viewership, your listening means everything. So once again, final score, Milwaukee 5, Baltimore 2. First pitch tomorrow at 1:10 on Masson. Thank you so much for watching live and listening on the Locked On Podcast Network. Good night, stay safe, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow.